Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lach Techum Musar podcast. We continue with the Pele Yoeitz, Perek Aleph, Ois Aleph, day 6 of Hachzik, and page 23 in the Art Scroll. So we've been discussing at length the midah, not just the midah, but the mitzvah of Ahavas Hashem, and how it's a mitzvah to midis, and how you always have to reflect on the boundless kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now the Pele Yoeitz is going to go and discuss these concepts on a very practical level, which is something we, of course, always enjoy. Based on all of this, everything we've said, each and every person, to whatever extent Hashem has assisted him personally to succeed in his avodas Hashem, a person is obligated to cultivate that love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu relative to that abundance of good which he has received. Meaning to say, every person has innate talents. This person perhaps is a musician, this is a big balkishrin, this person has had a big challah, whatever it is. But the point is, every single person has a special, unique talents that are different, that makes us unique, that makes us stand out from our peers, from our friends. And that in itself is a tremendous gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no comparison between one who has merely received the good that the entire klal has as a group. Now we're talking about it on a higher, more macro level, as Klal Yisrael as a klal. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah, He gave us commandments which are good for us, which elevate us, which enrich our entire lives, make it purposeful, meaningful. There's a tachlis, there's a finish line, there's a goal. We live with she'ifas, with dreams of accomplishing, of giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu nachas ruach. We're not just living in a vacuum and getting by day to day. I was actually speaking to someone today, and this person was telling me that they're married and they have no children, and they specifically chose to have it that way. And the person was even telling me how much money they've made over time, and I thought it was very interesting. They were talking about numbers in the hundreds of thousands, and I was really wondering. They were a guy. I met them in a store, and we got into a deep conversation pretty quick. And I couldn't wrap my head around why this person still at 60 years old, who's married, whose spouse is doing the same exact thing. Like, what's their drive? What are they working towards? What's their she'ifa? There's no shas to finish, there's no mitzvah, they have the shav mitzvahs, but what stimulates them? What motivates them to go to work the next day to make more money for what? These people didn't even go on vacation, so this person was telling me that they're going away for the weekend, and it's like a big deal. They never are able to have time off and to go anywhere. I'm thinking to myself, you have no kids, you have maybe a mortgage, tuition, no, chasana is not. And you think about it, it's sometimes frightening. Like, what are these people here for? What's their drive? What are they getting up the next day for? And if they have so much money over the years, why do they even go to work? Maybe if they didn't have money, okay. So there's a little bit of ischayvus. There's some sense of accomplishment. I'm making money to provide, to meet my needs, but what's the motivation? But for us Yidden, no matter what situation we're in, a person can be the richest person. He could be the biggest gevir. He could be the wealthiest person. But even such a person wakes up every single day, and from the second he wakes up, there's a regimen. There's demands, there's mitzvahs, chas v'shalom, not demands. There's 613 mitzvahs, ways to connect ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there are opportunities. And this is one of the tovos that we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we are goal-oriented, that we are purpose-oriented, that we have higher purpose, higher meaning. We're part of a bigger picture. We're not just in a vacuum making money to pay our rent and then do nothing. We care about the next generation. We care about our children, our Torah, mitzvahs, schusim, Beis Hamikdash, nitzchis. There's so much. There's endless amount, and we can always put more into it. We can always do more mitzvahs, more Torah, more chesed. Says the Pele Yoeitz, shenas alon Torah's emes chukim u'mitzvahs tovim. La Torah shegamal l'mishanasan like koyach u'birs v'chodes maspik v'yishuv v'hashket v'shava l'avodas Hashem yisbarach shemai. Pasha just to think that not only did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us the opportunity to engage in the mitzvahs, to engage in Torah, mitzvahs, ma'asim tovim, but Hashem gave us yishuv, hashket, shalva, peace, tranquility to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Pasha to be in a matzav of avdas, of shibur to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we have to be so thankful that this is the life, this is the world, this is the situation that Kadosh Baruch Hu placed us in. And of course, a person whose lot is to be placed among the dwellers in the Beis HaMedrash, then he must harbor even more gratitude, for it emerges that he has been given greater kindness from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he's able to not just, but to do Torah mitzvahs, but on the highest level. The world was created for Torah. The Torah is the greatest, the epicenter of the entire world. So it keeps us going. It's a keep right. If there was a second in the world where Torah ceased from being learned, we'll go back to Torah Vavayu. Torah is pumping the entire world. So a person who is zeichet to be in the Yoeitz Beis HaMedrash, achas kama v'kama, how great does his thanks and his gratitude have to be the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And a person who HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him keshroinus, wisdom and knowledge, in order to conduct himself with character traits that are good and upright, as well as to realize and recognize the repugnance of what the Torah prohibits and the character traits that are bad. Such a person is truly fortunate. Why? Because he's able to have the clarity and perspective, to stay away from, to distance from these bad, negative midas. And he's able to do this in a way that will always be giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu nachas and make him happy, because he's able to distance himself from bad. And this is a great kindness that Hashem has bestowed upon him, abundant and precious beyond measure. In the light of all this, and this applies to all Yidden, this is on a macro level, a general, objective level, we're all zeichet to be Yidden, to have a structure, regimen, goals, things to accomplish, Torah, mitzvahs, ma'asim tovim, chesed. There's so much to do every single day. We turn around, we can either be busy with shtosim, or we always have the Yetzer Hara. Maybe say a kapita Tehillim, maybe learn a little bit more, maybe do chesed, maybe arrange something, do something nice, do a mitzvah. We always are facing that struggle. On the one hand, it's a struggle, but on the other hand, it's nitzchis. And we're so lucky to be in a position where we're able to at least make the choices, at least think about the choices. Whether we fail or succeed, that's irrelevant. But pasha, to be in a place where we're able to be thinking about lofty things, higher, bigger purpose, not just what's in front of us. Ashreinu. Kol kabal dena chayav adam leves beira ahava azul firav tova, and all of this that we've discussed, it gives us a responsibility to love Hashem with tremendous, a bold kindness, the economy oilafana v'yomar, and one should subjugate himself to Kadosh Baruch Hu and say, "Katointi mikol hachasadim." What Yaakov Avinu said, my merits have been diminished. Mikol hachasadim, mikol emes asher asisis avdecha. My merits have been diminished from by all the kindnesses and by all the truth that you have done for your servant. With what can I come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and properly repay the thanks I owe to him? Because a person must contemplate all of these points and take them to heart. And with this recognition and with the goal of nurturing this relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one must delve deeply into them, broadening his understanding with these pure thoughts until his heart is ablaze like flaming coals with love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a song like that, My Heart is on Fire. It's a beautiful song. And Pele Yoeitz. We have to come to this level of Sheis Live Liboy. My heart is on fire like a flaming coal. We're going to learn about this later in the chapter of joy of Simcha later on. For serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with love that we speak of and performing the mitzvahs of the Torah with joy are in essence one and the same.